This weekend, Inside Out 2, the latest Pixar film, drops in theaters. Can it recapture the magic of the original film? Let's talk about it. Hi, my name is Sean, and I love to talk about movies and TV way too much. With that in mind, go ahead and join me down below in the comment section. Let me know, what did you think about Inside Out 2, and give me that point of reference. What did you think about the original Inside Out as well as the current state of Pixar? Now, I went into this movie actually pretty excited to see it because I think the original Inside Out is a special film because it was able to do something incredibly difficult. It takes complex ideas about cognitive development and packages them in a way that all ages can be entertained by it and all ages can understand the way children grow up a little bit better, can help children understand what's happening to them. And for me, the idea of doing a sequel made a lot of sense because you continue to grow up, you go through different phases, and if they could recapture that idea of visualizing the changes that go on in the mind for puberty, I would think that that would be a great sequel. But I don't feel like the last several years has been the best run for Pixar, where they put out several movies that I think are good. But Pixar's not known for putting out good films. They're known for putting out special films, great films. So will Inside Out 2 recapture the magic of the original and the magic of any number of other Pixar films from the last 30 years? Or is it another one that's good, but seems like it's missing that magic? Let's get started with the good. And no reason to beat around the bush here. I think that this is the best Pixar film in years, and it absolutely was able to kind of touch on that inspiration, that Pixar magic, where it feels like you're watching a movie that's special. And it's for the exact reasons that I just mentioned. Of the movie continues this idea of exploring what goes on inside of our heads. And whereas the first film was very much just about singular emotions, where younger children are kind of concrete thinkers, this is that transition into puberty where you start creating your sense of identity. And it's a very different way of thinking that has more pieces to it, plus other aspects, other emotions kind of come into the mix as children start becoming adolescents that have abstract thinking. In particular, anxiety comes into the mix. And once again, they're able to find a way to take this abstract feeling we have and visualize it and craft a story around it that helps you understand what's going on and all the negatives of anxiety, of course, but also the positives and what it's trying to do. Why do we experience something like anxiety? And it's that inspiration that it's not just entertaining, but it's something beyond that. So just on a simple plot level, Riley is a much more prominent character in this film. Riley herself has a more overt character arc as well as plot that she's going through as she's in middle school. She's in this transitional time period, not just inside, but externally. There's so much change going on, and we're on this journey with her. And that was one of the things I really enjoyed about the film, is that you're very much following the plot line in the real world just as much as in the world of her mind and her emotions. You very much have these two plots running parallel, where there's a series of choices that she's making that are bad choices or frustrating choices or good choices, but all of them are complex. And we understand why they're so strange because of the second plot line inside of her head. And they're running side by side, and it just does such a great job of taking all of these extraordinarily relatable experiences that middle schoolers have. Phase of life that's so awkward, where there's so many strange things going on in a person's life, and they're just playing it side by side, and the whole time you're just embarrassed for Riley, and you feel bad for her, and you see the internal struggle of her competing emotions causing all of these bizarre, strange choices that she's making. But also, they're not bizarre, strange choices. They're the odd choices that every single one of us made, or you are currently making, in middle school. Both plot lines are entertaining. Both plot lines have tension. Both plot lines have character arcs for the people involved in everything going on. They're so wildly different, but they're also perfectly connected to one another in the back and forth of the victories of certain emotions causes choices in the real world, and vice versa. What happens over here affects what happens inside of her head. And it's just something that's so clever, so well done, that the only word that comes to mind is special. This is the kind of movie that you watch it and you immediately think, I want everyone to watch this film so they can understand themselves better. In particular, middle and high schoolers, teenagers, watch this film so you can understand yourself as well as all the weird, awkward people around you, so you can understand each other a lot better. That's what you feel watching this film, as it's able to just capture these experiences, these emotions, these sensations so well, and give an explanation for it, and maybe give hope for the people in the middle of their awkwardness. Maybe will help them make slightly better choices in all of it. Another fun thing kind of going along with the plot to it, whereas in the first film, you kind of had the journey where it was joy and sadness on the journey. This one, it's kind of the whole original set of emotions are kind of off traveling together. And I thought that gave more time for some of these emotions to kind of stand out. With our new emotions, they're all a lot of fun. Of course, anxiety is the one that's the most prominent and dominant. And they find a really good way to make anxiety a character that is very clearly the villain, but also doesn't have a villainous motivation. The kind of classic way that villains are described is a great villain sees themselves as the hero of their own story. And that's what they do with anxiety. And in doing that, as kind of I've touched on before, it helps you to understand why anxiety is there. Why do we have it? What's the good that comes from it, as well as acknowledge the bad sides to it at the same time, because they present anxiety as this interesting character with motivations that aren't so bad. And you go, oh, that's what's going on inside of me. So you like the new characters, but you don't feel like the old characters have been too sidelined or don't getting enough time in the spotlight. In many ways, a bunch of the old emotions get more time in the spotlight. Sadness still very important to the plot, and of course, joy is the one driving so much of what's happening. And I felt that it was fully able to capture the experience I had watching the original Inside Out, which is a movie where you care deeply about this girl Riley and everything going on with her. And it's able to tell a story that's so insightful, so poignant. For me personally, I've spent most of my adult life working with teenagers in some capacity, even this particular week, volunteering at my church, driving teenagers around at nighttime. And so a story that captures what's going on with middle schoolers means a great deal to me. Even right now, my oldest is in middle school. And so I watched the film being like, I just want all of these teenagers to watch this and process it. It's entertaining, superficially speaking, but hopefully it could help you understand all of this stuff that's going on inside of you and why you feel the way that you feel, and help them to realize this is going on with everybody else too. So be patient with them, as hopefully they're a little bit more patient with you. As a parent, the movie was a conversation starter. During the car ride home with my daughter, I was starting to talk with her about has she started to experience anxiety, and kind of taking the ideas in the film about the way as you develop, you start having more abstract thoughts and can think through the future, and talk through that with her to prepare her for everything that's coming in life in the next few years. I was able to take my middle child to go see this one, Chloe. Here's what she had to say about it.
I liked the movie. It was pretty good. Definitely different from the first one. It was maybe more stressful, like very tense. And they added a bunch of new characters. And I like Sadness is still my favorite character.
She really likes sadness in the world.
Well, kind of in the world. I just like...
In Riley's head, she likes Riley to be sad. And embarrassment's fun.
I thought that this one was right on par with the original film. Easily one of the best Pixar films in years. A couple more things to talk about here, so let's move on to the mixed bad aspects of the film. I didn't have anything really overtly wrong with the film. These are just some additional things to kind of talk about and discuss. As soon as I posted my short out of the theater reaction, a number of people asked me if there's anything in the film that parents should be nervous about or be aware of. No, I think that this is a movie that kids should go watch. There's nothing in it that I thought, parents should be worried about or anything like that. And there's a lot of things in the film that I think will help you as a parent to start conversations with your kids about what's kind of going on with them. Other things, I wouldn't even put this in the negative, but it does follow the same essential formula as the first film. Naturally, the first one did it first, so it's fresher, it's more original in that regard. But I think this is an example of where there's still more story to be told. There's more ideas about development that can be unpacked and visualized in this medium, so it lends itself to these kind of continuing journeys as Riley continues to get older, mature, and change. And so while it does follow the same formula of she enters a new phase, starts to change, and our classic emotions are on a bit of a journey trying to get back to save the day, everything else about it is fresh and new, and in certain ways, I think improved upon. In particular, making Riley more prominent and having such a distinct journey that she's on, where there's a goal that she's working towards, multiple goals in another sense, and a lot of different competing things going on. I think that amplifies a lot of what's going on, so it builds upon what worked in the first film while using the formula of the first film. Real quick, before I give you my final thoughts, remember to join me down below in the comment section. Let me know, what did you think about Inside Out 2? Give me that point of reference. What did you think about the original one? What do you think, thoughts on Pixar in general right now? Also, be sure to come back this weekend. I will have more Pixar content. I got a couple different big videos planned. Hopefully you'll come back to check those out. To repeat the word that I've said several times in this video, I think that this movie is special. It has that Pixar magic where it's not just entertaining, it's not just insightful, it's also a film that just feels useful. It's the kind of movie that you watch it and you go, that was a good time at the movies, but you also say, I really want other people to watch this movie because I think it will make their life better. It will make them understand themselves more, and it will help them to understand the people around them more. And that's when you know you have a great film. And easily, I think this is the best Pixar film in years. Overall, it's an A on the entertainment scale, a 9 out of 10, and this is a must-see movie. In particular for families, you got teenagers, go see the movie and then talk about it. It's entertaining, but it's also an important conversation starter. Be sure to come back this weekend when I'll have more Pixar content. Thank you so much for watching, and keep talking movies and TV too much. Bye-bye.